What are good reasons to live? Anything. At one point I was living for the original series. My life's goal was to watch all of the episodes. That was it. The one thing keeping me alive. A kids show that I should have grown out of years ago. There is never a bad reason to live. Never a stupid one. Any reason to live is a good one. Especially if it's all you can think of at the moment. Of all the great and stupid advice in this post, I believe this is the best answer. Anything. Whatever makes you willing, just wake up tomorrow. Glad you are still with us. Little MSS Sunshine. Thanks, Gerald. Honestly, I just want to ride it out and see what happens. Us humans are so entertaining. One minute we're blowing each other up, the next we have pet rocks or something. I agree with this random citizen. Floating in a large body of water with no distractions. Also, did you know that if you float on your back in a hot tub with all the jets on that you'll spin in a lazy little circle? I did not know that, and it's pretty fun. It's also quite relaxing. If you're careful you can do it while reading a book. If you haven't had a chance to try that yet, you should hang on at least until you do. It's pretty rad. So I am gonna get a job, save some money, buy a hot tub and float around in it. Suicide is off the table, guys. Until that. So you can say to the person mugging you and threatening to kill you, what makes you think I have money or a will to live? I was mugged once and the only thing I had in my pocket was a book. They didn't even think about taking it, which is good for me but also kind of insulting. Well, actually I was mugged twice, but the second was a kid who didn't have a gun, just his hand in his pocket, and we hit him upside the head with a jar of olives. Edit. For everyone asking, the book was most likely Dragonlance Dragons of Autumn Twilight. We had the olives as groceries and we never found them again. I hope this has lightened some of your mornings. If you quit now you won't get to play the futuristic video games we'll actually have the technology to make 99% immersive. As a father I expect to see my kids play those. Not because of being old or something. I just see me buying them and then watching the kids play them. While I wonder if I could afford a second game console. Because if you die, it can't get better. Right now, I'm a shaking, emotional mess because I hit rock bottom last night. I am still here because I know from experience that as long as I don't give up, my life has the chance to get better. Hopefully it will, but the only way I'll see is by sticking around. Rock bottom to me was over 10 years ago. Even the breakdown of my marriage has been manageable due to knowing that feeling as a basis of comparison. It's a powerful thing to know you've felt as low as a person can feel. The smell of a fresh rain, the smell of flowers, being able to cuddle your pet, the taste of your favorite food, being able to finish out your favorite TV shows. And for me, add being able to know how the book you're reading concludes. I'm now reading The 22nd of November 1963 by Stephen King and I sure wanna know how it ends. I read this on a similar Ask Reddit. We're all lights in the darkness for one another. When one light goes out, it makes it that much more dark for the rest of us. The human eye can see a single candle from 4 miles away. You never know when your light is the only light someone can see. Simple. I'm not done here, and I guess I'm not allowed to die until I am. I've frickin' tried to kill myself. Drove my car off a forest ravine at 95 miles per hour. Frickin' went right through the trees for about 50 feet, then landed onto the road on the other side of the S-bend. Car had a small dent in the front bumper and half-inch chip missing, both from the winding road sign I took out right before the ravine, but not a scratch otherwise. I went back to look. There was no gap between the trees big enough for a car. Years later, I tried to blow my brains out with shotgun. Pulled the trigger. Nothing happened. Sat there for like 10 seconds. Then took the barrel away from under my chin. And the exact second it was clear, it went off, jumping out of my hands and missing me by a few degrees. So yeah, I don't know what the frick I believe in, but if there is a god, I guess he wants me to stay on Earth for a while longer. Presumably because I'm supposed to help someone. Figure I'll just help as many people as I can until I hit my quota or whatever and eventually get to die. Woo. I quite like this story. I don't have reasons to live, I only have reasons to not die. Despite how similar those sound, they are different, and most people who are content with fire lives won't be able to make the distinction. You've been dead for eternity before you were born. Let that sink in, an infinite amount of time where you did not exist, and for a universal split second you're alive, after which you will stop existing for an infinite amount of time. In the grand scheme of things, being alive is literally the least likely thing that could have happened, and yet here you are. I've seen a couple of these and I get it, and there were times where I would say this to myself, but I'm also stuck saying so what kind of often. I mean, especially when I'm just keeping it together and going to work or school again. I often can't really even see beauty or the grand scheme of anything, not to mention feel grateful for being alive. I also end up feeling guiltier for being depressed because I have so much going for me, beyond the astronomical odds you mentioned. I'm a white male who grew up in the United States, with no disabilities and a propensity for learning all types of crap, but here I am constantly hating myself. Sometimes I feel like that makes me an even worse person. I just don't see a future for me. It's impossible for me to imagine a possible future. I'm just lost and don't want to feel sad all the time anymore. Knowing that you are somehow and some way a part of someone's day and routine, and if you disappeared their life would be missing something. That you never know what'll happen tomorrow, and it just might be something good. If you have a pet, no one could possibly love and bond with them like you could, and that living would spite everyone that wanted you not to. I like to think I'm etching myself into the paths of every atom I touch. Even after the solar system is dust, there will be modes directly or indirectly affected by the fact I lived a life at some point. These things will have their trajectories forever marked by my existence, even if they are small and quiet particles or wakes of heat. Perhaps my actions will inspire others and the far off entropies will have a little more ripple as a result. I love this so much. Thanks. Sunshine and wind. Sometimes in the deepest pits of my depression and when I'm ready to end it, I'll go for a walk and the sun is just so dang beautiful and warm that I stay alive just so I can keep seeing it. I have ADHD, autism, and I have constant anxiety and intermittent depression. I have experienced being suicidal often in my life, but I don't think I'm in danger of dying. Good reasons for me not to die. My husband. He is a terrific emotional support and all around great human, and I just wanna be around him. He likes me a lot and I wouldn't ever wanna hurt him by just up and dying for no reason, let alone doing it on purpose. Even at my most depressed, I would literally never imagine doing that to him. The concept of his pain is so enormously painful to think of that it's like an object too hot for me to touch. My cats. My co-workers, who struggle with mental health as well. My industry took it hard when Anthony Bourdain killed himself. My co-workers are all speaking up about how crappy we all feel and we're actually supporting each other. My friends, who struggle with mental health as well. Same as above. People on the internet that I provide emotional support for, because if I kill myself, I can't be the voice of reason and understanding for everyone else that feels this way. Every person that kills themselves is eliminating an opportunity to increase understanding of mental illness and human neurodiversity. Every person that kills themselves is giving suicide an advantage in the fight against humanity. Because other people with ADHD and autism need people to speak up for them. We are collectively really freaking crappy at articulating. Because other people with ADHD and autism that don't know they even are, and that it's why they're freaking suicidal in the first goddamn place. Hey. Hi. I see you. Help is coming, goddamn it, just hang in there. Because I'm not dying without fixing this crap, and that is a goddamn threat. While your 4 first points are nice, at this time they appear completely unattainable to me. I don't even know how or where to meet people, let alone maybe being able to connect with any of them. Myself. It sounds completely self-centered, I know, but I spent almost my whole life sticking around because other people needed me, and don't get me wrong, that's also a very valid reason, but that's a lot of responsibility on them. After my suicide attempt almost 10 years ago, I swore I'd never put my mum through that again. She was my whole world. She needed me and I needed her, and when she got sick, we needed each other more than ever. In her last few months, me and my sister were her carers, so she was completely dependent on us. My world stopped. I dropped out of college. I barely socialized. I had no life outside of looking after my terminally ill mother. Now if I had the chance, I'd do it the exact same way all over again. I don't regret it. But once she died, all I could think was, what now? I pushed it all on my sister. We only had each other. And when things got tough I told myself I couldn't leave her and she needed me. Again, all very valid and true, but I was miserable. Living felt like a chore, a responsibility I'd been forced into. So I got my butt into gear, went to therapy, started going to the gym, did some online courses, got into a relationship with a wonderful person. Soon I'm hoping to quit my job because I can't stand it, but I need the security of a new one first. In September I'm finally going back to college and doing my last year. Gonna get that degree. I'm living for myself now because I deserve to. There's so many places I want to go, and so much stuff I want to do. Sure, one day I plan on having kids and then they will become my world and my number one. But right now I'm 24, and it's time for me to be a little bit selfish. Spite. Space. Imagine all the cool things you'll miss if you die today. Who knows how far we'll get with space technology in the future. You might be able to see whole galaxies in the sky, or view the moon closer than ever before, or even simply have the opportunity to look up at the sky in the wilderness and seeing the same stars your ancestors saw, the same stars Van Gogh and Galileo saw. Life is so simple, yet so complicated at the same time. Take everything one moment at a time and I can assure you that you will find your way to contentment. Dude, the universe woke up. Do you understand how freaking crazy that is? After billions of years of chaos and evolution, a tiny part of the universe arranged itself in such a way that it was able to say, holy crap, I exist. That shouldn't have happened. It's the most unlikely thing imaginable. You are the subjective consciousness of the universe itself. The universe woke up, and it is you. Don't freaking squander it. Frick you, I'll squander it if I like. If you kill yourself you'll never have a chance to try again. Something interesting may happen, you never know. We will all die anyway, so live life on your own terms and take whatever comes. You can't stop being dead, ever. If you stay alive you have the rest of your life to do stuff. Improve the planet, get rich, give others the start you wish you'd had. I'd love to be able to press pause, or create a new character, but I'm definitely not ready to put the game down forever. Not sure if you all will see this, but thank you for all this attention. I posted this out of impulse and didn't think anyone would answer. I wasn't even gonna check if anyone responded. I was and still am in a very bad place. To the point I almost didn't wake up today. I can only admit that because I'm anonymous on here. I'm looking into free therapy that's offered at my school BC here in the US. Anything health related is insanely expensive. Thanks for all the sweet comments and thanks for the funny ones. I laughed today for the first time in a few. Spite. It's a great motivator. Nothing prepares you for the day like looking death in the eyes and saying frick off, see not today. I believe either a single person or a purpose is good enough. One can strive to learn a language, visit a place or learn a skill. These are pretty good reasons. I have a few people whose life will be affected by my absence. That is why I do not want to die yet. There is one thing more. One should have a good enough reason to die. Curiosity. Many people are driven by that. It's a basic yet powerful human emotion to want to learn and understand everything around us. Without curiosity we wouldn't be where we are today. To put a big middle finger up to the universe. It's hard, but trundling along no matter how hard existence kicks you is a poetic frick you to it. It's a little dumb but I always make sure I'm looking forward to something. A game, a movie, the next season of a show, just something coming up that interests you. I like to gather stories. Even the worst things that happen to me create stories and experience. I've been homeless, in jail, seen a lot of death, etc. I've been able to help others because of that. So even when I'm not feeling good about my life, I know that my worst moments have allowed me to help others through theirs. Being comfortable doesn't create stories. This is only a recent realization for me. 33 years old. When I'm not happy with my life, I try to do something unfamiliar. I've recently discovered that I love the outdoors. All my life I've been the stay-at-home kind of person. Perfectly happy to just play some video games or watch a movie. I started getting into a funk that I didn't know how to get out of, but I continued to do the same thing every day. Working 7 days a week. Play video games 2 hours a day. sleep and repeat. I took some time off work to try and get out of the gloomy feeling that I had, but I was still doing the same thing on vacation, minus the work, and it wasn't helping. So work wasn't the problem. Decided with my last few days of vacation to get a hotel room about an hour outside of a national park, 4 hours from home. I cancelled the reservation because it was easier to just say never mind, I just want to relax. The next day I woke up and said frick it, let's just go. Made the hotel reservation again. The trip ended up changing my entire perspective. I want to do nothing but hike now. I want to get in better shape so I can do longer hikes. I want to buy a truck. I'm spending my free time looking for new places to explore. I'm looking into camping. Seeing the stars in the wilderness has me wanting to get a telescope and looking into astrophotography. All this new stuff, because for once I decided to listen to the little voice in my head telling me to try something new. I live for new experiences. The more new experiences that I have, the more I want to live. Not just exist, but to do stuff. No matter how long I've done one thing, a new hobby or passion is just around the corner. You never know until you put yourself out of your comfort zone. I spent years, decades, doing what I thought made me happy, but I was never happy. A more enjoyable life was one last minute decision away for me. One moment of following through with an idea that I had. I could have easily just slept in again instead of changing my mind to take the trip. If the trip ended up sucking, would that have really been worse than another year of continuing the same routine? It would be a story regardless. Even if I don't want to tell a story, seeking a story usually leads me somewhere interesting. It doesn't have to be big life changes or trips. Always watch horror movies. Try some comedies. Looking at a giant library of games but feel you have nothing to play? You probably don't really want to play a game. Grab a book. Take a walk. Trying something different is what keeps life interesting enough to continue for me. Easy and comfortable isn't fun or interesting. I have written this out elsewhere, but since everything I want to say has stayed the same, I'll just copy it here. I had a couple major realizations. Self-talk. I was intensely, harshly critical of myself. One day I realized that I would never talk to another person like that, so why should I talk to myself that way? I made the decision to treat myself as though I was a friend who had the same issues. I would treat myself kindly with compassion, and allow myself to be imperfect, even very imperfect. This is very important. I decided to make a point of noticing what I did right, well, and good in the same way I'd focused exclusively on what I did wrong before. It's important, especially for someone in or coming out of depression, to see and admit to themselves that yes, they do things right. 2. It doesn't matter how tiny or inconsequential the action is. Did you brush your teeth today? Nice. You brushed your teeth today. Fair warning, this change in behavior will likely feel fake as heck at first, and will continue feeling fake as heck for a long time. It's normal for a behavior pattern you aren't in the habit of to feel fake, but that doesn't mean it is fake. It's just an unfamiliar pattern. As the pattern becomes familiar, the feeling of fakeness will fade. The other thing was that I realized when you are depressed, you naturally tend to focus on what's bad and wrong in life. You don't even notice the good stuff, even though it's still there. If you go long enough noticing only bad things while being oblivious to the good, it can legitimately get to a point where it really, genuinely feels to you like only bad things exist for you and that good stuff doesn't even exist at all. Therefore, I made a deliberate point of noticing what's right and good in life. There's a roof over my head tonight and I have a warm, dry, comfortable bed to sleep in. I have my health. I can have pretty much anything I want for dinner. I am incredibly lucky to live in that incredibly tiny fraction of all of human history that the internet exists. It's a lovely day out today. I lost a couple more pounds. I really do have exceptionally awesome landlords. I was really kind to that person. I got the dishes done today, etc. Fair warning. This is another thing that's going to feel fake as heck for a long time until you get into the habit of it. Expect it. It's normal and fine. I pushed through the fake feeling and it made a life-changing difference for me that I did. One more thing. Let it be genuinely okay for yourself to make mistakes. Old habits and thought patterns can have a lot of inertia to them. Depressed people are still people, and people are just human beings, which means they will make mistakes. If you can let it be genuinely okay to be a human being who makes mistakes just like anyone else does, don't beat up on yourself for making them, just shrug. Let it roll off your back and carry on. You will have a much easier time of all of this on those days you find old habits creeping back again. Also, after you've gotten a bit out of depression, check out this excellent post about non-zero days. If you are deep in depression right now, this might be too much just yet, and it's honestly okay if it is. One step at a time. Just focus on noticing the things you do right for now, on the positives around you. My friends and I just won the best choir in the whole country of Iran. While it felt good, I am in the most depressed I've ever been. I'm lonely, I'm lost, I'm desperate for any reason to get out of my house. I don't have even a little courage to kill myself, and I don't have the courage to tell anyone around me about this crap, let alone seek help. A whole lot of reasons brought me here and I'm stuck. And the most laughable part of it all is that I'm 18. Dying sucks. Death seems okay, but it's the stuff before that that I'd rather not deal with just yet. I just had a bit of a realization this weekend which has changed my mind on this matter. I passed out in the bathroom. Yep, it's an issue being investigated. Happens sporadically, and after the doctor told me I was lucky that I very possibly might not wake up next time, I realized it wasn't that bad. Like, I don't want to die, but if I am to die that way, really it's actually not that bad. A bit of nausea, dizziness etc, but no pain, no fear, and if it happens, no memory of it all anyway. I mean, I always feared the process of death, and of course I wouldn't want to get my head chopped off by a Mexican cartel or something like that, but if my way is a spontaneous collapse, it's pretty good. Except for ceasing to exist, that bit I still can't wrap my head around. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.